Yeah, and she's in Israel right now, so I'm not going to. Doesn't look like I'll be in Chicago anytime soon.
You know, you live there, but we don't live too far.
That's good. I mean, the one persons live literally next door. Yeah, and we're tight with them. So, yeah. And also, I don't know if you know Alex Shapiro.
Shavua Tov, everybody, and welcome to Yavne's NHTB 5784. My name is Jacob Felix. I will be your host, question asker, game MC, I don't know, for tonight. And welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. A few thank yous before we get into things. Patience. We have new viewers on the live stream. We need to welcome them. We need to explain to them what's been going on all Shabbos. They've missed a whole lot. First of all, of course, thank you to Yavne for sponsoring this event. Thank you. Patience, everybody. Thank you to Maryland Hillel for offering us this space. Thank you to the incredible hosts in this community who have hosted all of our visitors. Thank you to our visiting board members emeritus. Is there a plural? Yair Kasowski-Sachs, Judah Lesser, Adina Fleischer, and of course, Zev Roberts. Okay. Let's dial it in for a moment. Let's get things moving. Before we get started with the games, I would like to lead everybody in one mizmor of Tehillim. So please join me in reciting Tehillim Kuf Chaf Aleph. Shir lama alot esai nayal harim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai Yosei shamayim va'aretz. Al yitein lamot raglecha al yanum shomerecha. Hine lo yanum elo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomerecha, Adonai tzilecha al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka v'yareach balayla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzeitecha uvoecha me'ata v'yad olam. Achenu kol beit Yisrael hanutunim batzarov v'ashivya ha'omnim b'mayam u'b'mayavasha ha'makom yirachem aleihem yotzei misalevacha u'mefei le'ora u'mishiva ligola hashta v'agala v'zman kariv v'nomar amen. Now a quick recap of where we've been all Shabbos. We had 15 teams from 16 schools this time, which beats last year's number of only 11 schools. We started out with, I don't know if the camera can even see the bracket, but we started out with 7 games. We moved through a double elimination bracket, and I'll introduce to you now who remains standing. First, at my left, representing Yale University, we have Urim V'Tumim, which is Noam Barinholtz and the brothers Helfgott, Shlomi, and Ephraim. Team Urim V'Tumim has lost one game in this competition, which means that now I have the privilege of introducing our yet undefeated team, Rainbow Cake Enjoyers, representing not one, but 3 different schools, SCAD, SUNY New Paltz, and University of Pennsylvania. So give it up for the undefeated Ari Yeager, Tal Nyman, and last but not least, Benny Ram. So how's this going to work? We have the potential for not one, but 2 championship games tonight. If the Rainbow Cake Enjoyers are victorious in their first attempt, they will have defeated Yale. For Yale's second defeat, Yale will be eliminated, and the Rainbow Cake Enjoyers will be the winners of this year's NHTB. If, however, the Rainbow Cake Enjoyers do not have such fortune in their first game, they have the opportunity to lose 1 game and remain in the competition. We will go to a second championship game. Wow, I know. So we will see if that will happen again like it did last year, when Rutgers defeated YU in not 1, but 2 championship games to take the crown. The championship game structure will be as follows. We will have 17 questions broken down between 5 different categories: Chumash, Nach, Halacha, Gemara, and Jewish history. I will ask the question. There will be a slapmaster sitting roughly where I'm standing at the moment. Their job will be to determine who has slapped the table first, giving them the right to answer the question. If the person who is spotted by the slapmaster answers correctly, they will be awarded a point. If they are incorrect, the other team will have an opportunity to answer. Now, the individual who slaps in must be the one to answer. They may not consult with their teammates. However, if they are incorrect, the question goes over to the other team, who may consult. If the other team cannot produce the correct answer from all 3 members, one of whom will answer on behalf of the other 2, then the question goes back to the original team, who may now confer. If they too fail to produce the correct answer, that question is a dead question, and we will move on. If at the end of the game, the score is all tied up because an odd number of questions were declared dead due to lack of an answer, we will go into a tiebreaker. Now, for those of you just joining us, the reason the audience is so curious as to what a tiebreaker might be is we have had 0 tiebreakers this entire time, which is definitely a surprise, I will admit. So we'll explain it if we get there. What am I missing? Yes. Over the course of this Shabbos, we've all had the pleasure to meet many, many, many different contestants from many, many, many different schools. We've had a form sent out to audience members who could vote for their fan favorite. And this year's audience voted fan favorite is... Context Dependence Jonas Berling-Milner. In addition to our fan favorite, we will also have a few other individuals that we'll highlight at the end of the games. Now, unfortunately for Yonah, there is no prize for being the fan favorite, other than, of course, everyone's love. However, for our winners and contestant-voted MVP, there will be prizes. For the winner's prize, we will have a copy for all 3 winners of From Creation to Redemption by Rabbi Chaim Willis. And for the MVP, who will be voted for by the other contestants, not audience members or board members, the MVP will be receiving a copy of Torsky on Chumash. Thank you. Okay. Any other orders of business? A friendly reminder to the audience. This is not your time to shine. I know you all want to flex your knowledge and show us that you know Torah, especially those of you who were not fortunate enough to make it to the final round. You all competed very well. It was a pleasure to have all of you. Your time is now up. Please leave it to the contestants from Urim Bitumim and Rainbow Cake Enjoyers to answer questions. We will have problems if audience members are heard answering the questions. Please keep chatter to an absolute minimum. I would highly recommend not discussing answers. Just don't talk. Okay. Let's get this set up. Let's get a chair in for the Slapmaster. Let's get me some questions, and let's get the show on the road. In my hand, I hold a microphone. And in the other, I hold 17 questions. Now, where do these questions come from? Do they come from thin air? No, of course not. They came from my incredibly dedicated team of question writers, who I would like to thank very much for all of their assistance. And would like to remind everyone that we are all human. We wrote these questions, we did our best to review these questions, we did our best to verify their accuracy. We are not perfect, and we've done our best to note what the correct answers are, to look them up, try to anticipate potential answers that other people might even argue with us on. It's not easy. We want to get this right. We don't want anybody feeling disappointed, feeling confused, or of course, being told incorrect information about Torah. We're not interested in doing that. But we wrote these. Please be patient with us. These should be pretty good, but we're human too. And also on that note, what was I going to say? 1 second. Yes, the Slapmaster is making decisions for who hit the table first. Their decision is final. Our decisions on these questions is final. If there is a question that is very, very confusing or an answer is not quite right and something is up, we will discuss as a board. We will make the determinations and we will move on. Now, who's ready for some questions? Chumash question number 1. Here we go. How much silver was Yosef sold for?
Shim Kasef.
That is correct. The full question was, how much silver was Yosef sold for to the Ishmaelite people? The answer, 20 pieces of silver. Moving on to our first Nach question. In Gilgal, Yehoshua erected 12 stones as a memorial.
The other stones were erected in the middle of the Yarden and perhaps also by Har Gerizim.
That is not the answer I was looking for. Please allow me to read the full question and hand it over to Yale. In Gilgal, Yehoshua erected 12 stones as a memorial for what event?
The crossing of the Jordan River.
That is correct. Moving on to our first halacha question. The bracha likboa ma'aka is said.
It's said when building a fence around one's roof, which is obligated for any flat roof.
That is correct. To read the full question to the person who successfully answered it, the bracha likboa ma'aka is said upon building what? And the correct answer, a fence or railing on your roof. Moving on to Gemara for our first Gemara question of the game. What are the 4 tumot?
Let's do this.
Nida, Sheretz, no, sorry, Nida, Zav, Yuledet, and yeah, Sheretz.
That is incorrect. Please allow me to read the full question. What are the 4 tumot that require a korban of kapara?
So, it's all the ones with.
Discuss among yourselves and I'll take a final answer.
All right, so we've got right, Mitzora, right, Zav Gadol, right, Yoledet. Mace also requires with the Paraduma.
Wait, Paraduma, yeah.
No, 'cause we could say Zab and Zava, unless they consider that one thing.
That's one thing.
That's one thing. So, what do we say? Said Yoledet. And they don't count it, right? A Nazir that's Mitame Mace is not considered, right? That's not considered a type of Duma.
It's gonna be May.
I will need an answer soon. I'll give you, I don't know, like 15, 20 seconds.
All right. So what are we gonna say? We're gonna say Yoledet, Mitzora, right?
Zab and Mace.
Right. Zab and Mace. All right.
I will accept that answer. Allow me to clarify. We actually had Zav and Zava separated. No. Okay. Unfortunately, that is incorrect. I will not be able to accept that answer. We'll have to move on. And if necessary, we will add in another question to make up for it. The full question was, what are the 4 tumot that... The answer was in there. We discussed too much. The full question was, what are the 4 tumot that require a korban of kapara? The correct 4 answers were Zav, Zava, Yoledet, and Mitzora. The acronym was Zazim. I had overheard a discussion that Zav and Zava were both mentioned in, but unfortunately they were not provided in the final answer. I misspoke. I could not accept that answer, and I gave away too much information to give it back to the other team. We will move on to our first Jewish history question of the game. There we go. All right. Which Roman emperor came up with a plan to build the 3rd temple?
Julian Apostate.
That is correct. Let's loop back around to the top. Chumash number 2. Here we go. When is the first time the term Am?
First time the term Am is used in the Torah. That I would assume comes up in Bereshis Perek. Does it come up in Perek Yod with the Bnei Noach?
I asked the questions, not you.
That's gonna be my answer because I already said it. But
That is not the answer we were looking for. I'll read the full question. When is the first time the term Am is used to describe Bnei Yisrael?
Parus speech is not about.
That is also incorrect. When is the first time the term Am is used to describe Bnei Yisrael?
When Nashon tells Yaakov to go down?
I think maybe after.
I don't know. Your best guess is probably better.
I'm going to need an answer.
When Yaakov and his sons are described going down to Egypt.
That is incorrect. The first time the term Am is used to describe Bnei Yisrael is when Yaakov divides his machanot before meeting Esau. Since nobody got that one right, this game is now out of 16 questions. There is a possibility of tying at 8. First to 9 will win. Moving on to our second Nach question, question number 5. Which character in Nach is referred to as Ben Ish?
Ooh, a bunch of options there. I'm gonna go for the coolest one, which is Ben Ish Chai, which would be Benayahu Ben Yoyada.
That is correct. To read the full question, which character in Nach is referred to as Ben Ish Chai, or possibly Ben Ish Chayil? There seems to be some sort of Krieg Sieve thing there going on. But yeah, the correct answer was indeed Benayahu Ben Yehoyada, which incidentally are 2 Sfarim written by the Ben Ish Chai. Moving on to Halacha, our second question. Halacha question number 9. Which 2 types of animals must have their blood covered?
Chayil.
That is incorrect. Wait. According to my memory, that is correct. That is not correct according to the answer sheet. Question number 9. Yeah. What is supposed to be covered for
You're good.
He's correct.
You're correct. To explain what happened there, as I mentioned earlier, we are human, and somehow the term domesticated animals got on here. The correct answer was undomesticated animals and birds. The full question was, which 2 types of animals must have their blood covered after shchita? Kisui hadam only applies to undomesticated or wild animals and birds. Moving on to our second Gemara question number 12. According to Ula bar Chinina, if the top of a hadas was severed, what can make it kosher again?
The hadas was severed. Oh, I did learn sukkah last year in yeshiva. No, 2 years ago. Let's see. If it starts sprouting those little bud things again, I think. Starts sprouting little buds.
I will accept that answer. More specifically, I was hoping to hear that if the top of a hadas was severed, then according to Ula bar Chinina, it would be made kosher again if a tmara or berry grows in its place. But I will accept the answer that it begins to grow some buds. Little buds. I don't remember the exact wording, but I will accept it. Moving on to our next Jewish history question. Jewish history question number 15. In 1845, the first Jewish senator and representative were elected to the United States Congress. Name one of them.
Uriah Phillips.
That is incorrect. Moving over to the Rainbow Cake enjoyers, you may convene. In 1845, the first Jewish senator and representative were elected to the United States Congress. Name one of them. Oh, yeah, that's correct. Thank you.
You might.
Say Moise Cohen? No, it's too early. That'd be like the Spartan.
I did know this at some point.
That's pretty cool.
Probably. Yeah, I'm drawing a complete blank.
Need an answer?
I got nothing.
We go with Moise Cohen.
That is incorrect.
Oh, Benjamin. It's
I have a Torah only hashkafa.
sure. Uriah leading.
That is incorrect. The two correct answers were Louis Charles Levin or David Levy Yulee. Of course, of course. Moving on to our... Oh, yes, that is an important note. This game is now out of 15 questions effectively, which means that the first 8 will win. Moving on to our third Chumash question. Chumash question number 3. Which grain is used for the sota's?
Barley.
Barley is correct. Barley is indeed the grain used for the sota's korban. On to our third Nach question. Nach question 6. Which king ruled Israel?
Stop.
That is incorrect. But surprisingly close. No, it's okay. Just listen. Although I appreciate your concern for the integrity of this competition. Which king ruled Israel after Achav? Achaziah is correct.
That's close.
And the Rainbow Cake enjoyers inch ever closer to taking the victory in this competition. Moving on to halacha question number 3, halacha 10. Which 19th century set of books was written for messianic halacha?
The Aruch HaShulchan Ha'atir.
That is correct. And that brings us to match point for the Rainbow Cake enjoyers. Will they take the win, or will Yale fight their way back to another round to attempt to defend their title in the first NHTB 2 years ago? I'd rather not. We move on now to our third Gemara question number 13. How would one calculate a halachic hour?
You take sunrise and sunset, you divide by 12.
That is correct. To clarify, the calculation of a sha'az manit, a halachic hour, requires taking the time in minutes between sunrise and sunset, dividing those by 12. Your new hour consists of the quotient of that division operation. But I was mainly looking for sunrise to sunset and the division, so I will accept that answer. Moving on to our third Jewish history question, JH number 16. Who was the Rebbe of the Rosh and the Mordechai?
The Rebbe of the Rosh and the Mordechai was the Maharami Rotenberg.
That is correct! And the Rainbow Cake enjoyers are victorious. Give it up for Urim Vitumim! And of course, our prize from the Torah Bowl for Yale University, Urim Vitumim. They can take their pick. Yale. Shkoyach. Shkoyach. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
Excellent job. Well done.
When they're fighting, it's we did something.
Please stay tuned. In a few moments, we will be handing out the awards to the winner and, of course, announcing the MVP.
How the hell did this happen? Wrong.
Some of my friends had heard about it because they're friends with the organizers.
Oh, I see.
And like they never got a team together. And it's like,
They were like,
guys, you know what? You know what? It makes doesn't need a core button.
why?
Besides the fact that it doesn't say anywhere to took it.
It needs a core button. It just doesn't need a core button. Stop.
Right.
It needs an OLA with the two.
Where's the bird? I don't think so. I think it's over. Oh wait. No, you're right.
That's what copy.
Yeah.
We're not really.
It was my fault to say that Dove and Dove was made. That's my bad. But we got it.
I don't have to take one time for the game.
I called.
It was all speed. I know. You knew more of the questions than I did. You didn't do it just through the past. I didn't know like.
Oh yeah. You're going home with me. Benny.
It's like getting the buzz like right before the result.
Benny, if you don't have an objection, I'm taking this with me. Thank you.
What? What's our
I'm going on my.
I know. Look, we next 5 minutes.
Oh my god.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to award our winners with their first place prize. Let's wish a big mazel tov to Ari Yeager, Tal Nyman, and Benny Ram on their win tonight. And as mentioned before, our prizes from creation to redemption, the deeper meaning of the Haftaros by Rabbi Chaim Willis. One for you, and you, and you.
Can I get a picture of all of you here, Brooks? Thank you. Amazing.
And now, to announce the MVP of this competition. They are not at this table. They are not at this table. They are in the back, Josh Goldenberg from Queens. As voted by our contestants, Josh Goldenberg from Queens. Thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you had a great time, and I hope to see you back next year. Thank you for joining us.